and welcome everybody. We are once again back for another CBC podcast. We got a pretty decent show on hand because we got news and things that are happening. Again, it's a bit slow. We just had a giant month of like 2 months worth of tons of content, so it's bound to slow down for a bit. But of course, don't worry, October picks things up with Joker, Venom, and then Kraven. So we'll have very little to talk about. But
I like that you skipped over New York Comic Con.
Oh, because nothing happens there.
I say New York Comic Con was for Fox. Fox doesn't exist.
Yeah. And like, I remember Batman v Superman got brought there and nobody even bothered to stop by there. It was like, yeah. That should have been an indicator on the $2 billion it's going to make. Yeah.
What a time. What a time. Nearly 10 years ago. That's crazy.
Just wait and then we'll talk.
Just wait. I mean, I'm still waiting.
You're going to keep waiting. But
I wonder if the bot that made that meme is still around.
Oh, he is. Still supporting the Snyder. Right, he's still saying the Snyder verse is going to come back. It's going to happen.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Amazing. I know. So, but hey, you know what's not going to be back? Probably us on topic multiple times. But before we get on topic, 2 members topics this week. Casting Green Lantern and Wild Joker 2 spoilers that hit the net that we're going to discuss. Quite a lot of interesting stuff among these 2 DC topics, but for the main show on hand, the Batman Part 2, Tom Holland teasing something, X-Men 97, the man that was fired, and it got turned into a whole thing, breaks a little NDA, and we're going to talk about that, and then Blade and Armor Wars, possibly on the chopping block. But before we get to all of that, we, of course, as always, got to introduce ourselves. So I am your host, Armin. It took 2 minutes to get to who I am, so if you're new here, that's it. I host this fine here established audio podcast, internet radio. That's
Christ.
what it is.
You just lost the entire like Gen Alpha crowd.
Okay, what is Alpha? What year does that start? What's that like?
I think they're like 2012.
Oh, so Generation Tide Pod. Okay, cool.
No, that's Gen Z.
Oh man. So there's possibly dumber ones,
or the younger. It's either Gen Z or it's the weird in between generation you get.
Okay.
It's alphas.
Yeah, it's alphas. Fair enough. But hey, since I'm here and I'm not hip with the kids, Mitch, you're also here. Are you hip with the kids these days and what they're saying?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Talking to Jared every week about Neon Genesis, I realized how out of touch I am with the kids. That man says something. It's like, I've got no idea what you just said. But you can hear that over on the Mitch 692 channel every Friday for Pro and Noob.
Perfect. I love that. Like, I'll send Jared texts because we're like texting back and forth, and then he'll send me back some text, and I'm like, I don't know what you said. And then he just sends me a 3-minute audio clip of him just explaining what he said in more details. I'm like, wow, you should just use clear English the first time. Come on, Jared. You know this. I don't understand the Riz and the fur or whatever how the kids are saying these days.
For real.
Yeah. See. But hey, Tristan, do you understand the kids these days?
A little bit, because that's just me. Almost like chronically online with my phone half the time, updates and stuff. But
Tristan's also one of the kids.
No, not at this point.
Not anymore.
It's like you have it with more with Ricardo than anything.
Well,
but yeah, I got some stuff coming out after a little bit of a break because burnout sucks. But look forward to that. You can catch it on all the link tree graphs and links, all that stuff.
There we go. So you guys can catch up with whatever we're doing elsewheres and follow us on the socials and the pages. And
don't rely on the community tab.
It's infrequent. It works and it doesn't, and then you can't even schedule a post. I don't know. But don't worry, they're introducing new features, so that's cool.
Classic.
Community.
Are they, or are they just saying that and then they're gonna like trash it halfway through because
Oh, of course.
It's dumb.
Like, of course. It's
I mean, if
TMO.
Twitter the last couple of days has shown us anything, it's YouTube will say they're doing something and they're not doing anything.
That's 100% true. 100% true. But hey, speaking of doing something, we're gonna get into our first topic, and that's talking about the Batman Part 2, because Matt Reeves revealed quite a bit of info this week, and there's a lot of implications here for the future of this universe and this franchise, and specifically the Batman Part 2. So I guess first and foremost, let's start off with the big one, which I think most people knew, but now he's confirmed it in sort of statement and writing. They are not going fantastical at all. This is going to be just what you saw in the Batman. We're doing more of the Batman. We're not going wild. We're not going too comic book. We're sticking to what worked with the first film, and this has gotten somewhat of a blowback.
Isn't this like statement like blowback from when you stated like someone like the Gentleman Ghost was never a good fit for the universe?
Right. Yeah.
Which I found funny because we just had a movie the other year about the Invisible Man and it was all technology based. So why not just do something like that? Not that I want Gentleman Ghost, but there's a way around it.
100%, yeah.
But at the same time, I respect I don't want to dumb the fantastical characters down to fit in a real world setting. I'm just going to stick to the more grounded side of Batman. I can respect it.
That's exactly where I'm at with this. Like, I just rewatched the Batman this week, and
nice.
Like that film, it's through and through on a different level for any DC film and a lot of other comic book films at the same time. And like Matt Reeves had a vision. He executes it the way he wanted to, and you can tell like he's a perfectionist, man. Like there's a lot of little things in this that other films or other production companies would miss, but he knows what he's making, and I don't think people should look at his franchise and be like, okay, inject more, I don't know, like give us Bane that gets super huge and then CG a giant Bane. It's like that doesn't really fit the aesthetics and the look or anything of his universe, Like his Batman, more than Nolan's, to me feels like he could exist. It's
there's still that like element there. You can see it going that way, but it's never gonna go.
Yeah.
Like it is fundamentally Batman.
Yep.
In a Batman type world. It's not I'm just stripping Batman of everything.
It's again, like I get that, but the other big thing that kind of I want to focus on, at least with this, is he talks about the plot details. And he says that when we catch up with Pattinson's Batman, we're going to see him go further into the history of his family and Gotham and find out that there's sinister things that have been alluded to in the first film that are there that we don't see them.
I wonder what he's talking about.
And I've seen people be like, oh, he's talking about the Joker. It's like, we see the Joker. He's literally in the first film. So 100% Court of Owls. There's no question about it.
You don't bring up like corruption in Gotham and like a deep state, whatever it is,
right?
And then not do Court of Owls.
Exactly. Like, what would you? It's
also if you want to like differentiate yourself from Nolan's like grounded take on Batman, you do Court of Owls.
Yeah.
You don't do anything like he does. Like, no, we're doing this. Is these three movies at least are a story about this. This is the Court of Owls.
Yep. And like. With the Court of Owls, you have the society, right? You're rewriting Batman and the Wayne's history. You're going to connect it to, the Cobblepots and the Arkhams and all this. And that's cool. That's great. But at the same time, you got the chance to introduce Talon then, who is their like front-facing main villain. And then you can essentially have the court's version of Batman fighting Batman. Like, it's more hand-to-hand than what we saw in the Batman versus Riddler, which was mind versus vengeance, if you will. So, again, I think what he's saying about Batman Part 2, on paper, and I'm going to assume in execution, sounds like the exact film that the fans are forming in their head, but there's probably going to be another villain in this, other than the Court of Owls. Maybe it's not Talon. Maybe save him for the third one. I don't know, but
Do we know who the villain is for part 2?
He's alluded to wanting to stay grounded and use villains we haven't seen. So make of that what you will. Yeah, I know. It's like, that doesn't really.
Because I assume he'll pull what he did in the first one again. So like you have like a penguin, like the penguin is the side character.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And if you're doing corruption, I think you kind of have to do Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
So you could have that running in the background while you have the main one being like Talon. I don't know. I know people are going about Deathstroke, but Deathstroke's not a Batman villain. So that's not making
nope. You know what? I honestly like what you're saying because, like, they said Penguin is a one-and-done series. And just last week they announced we're developing another sequel that's like Penguin, but not him. I mean, Harvey Dent, if you're going to bridge Batman 2 and 3 and drop a Two-Face series in between them like Penguin, I think that's honestly, really cool. That's a great way to do it. So I'm with you there. I think Harvey Dent, side villain, but the main one, Court and somebody, maybe. Or
so I think you saved the Court for the third one, right? Like you just had the all-out blowout with the Court for the third.
Yeah.
So I guess Talon you can have for the second one.
Yeah, that would make sense. And then the third one's kind of like another rogues gallery, a couple. Yeah, I could do. Like
I assume the third one's gonna be Joker and Court, right? Are you gonna
Joker, Court, Riddler is out because they bust him out as well. Maybe even Talon if he's locked up. Yeah. That honestly makes sense. So, I don't know. I'm pretty hyped about this, to be real with you. Like everything they're saying, a thumbs up. Like no opposition.
No, I'll say I accepted a long time ago that no, this isn't going to be a universe where you're going to get like a Clayface.
Right. Yeah.
I also am at the point now where I'm not going to get mad about there's no Clayface in it. Because why would I want Matt Reeves' take on Clayface when it's all grounded? That's just you're asking to be pissed off about everything. So as long as like Gunn's Batman is the more fantastical side of everything, we're fine having the two like juxtapose each other.
I was gonna say, and it definitely will be, because remember his tirade that people found out about every Batman film. He hates every single one, including all of Nolan's, because they're too grounded. So he's definitely gonna make his like, comic style and bright Gotham, and it's gonna look like the comics in some, regard.
I say it's funny how like ironically that's everyone doing like a grounded take on Batman is really working in Gunn's favor. So how do I make mine stand out and be different? Like, I know I'll just make it Batman.
So what you're saying instead of Clayface, we're gonna get Professor Pig?
Oh,
I mean, sure, I guess. You should make Professor Pig like a Jigsaw.
Hello, Wayne. Would you like to play a game? Oh, it's just the Riddler again. God damn it.
I mean, that's my one fear for Reeves' Batman is everything's just going to be the Riddler.
Same. Yeah, that's the one fear I have as well.
So, here's a Riddler and Penguin for the third time. Like,
Yep. Well, I guess we're going to know soonish enough. They start production next year, so we'll return with more updates when that starts.
That's crazy. I know you've had a writer's strike. That's nuts. When did that movie come out?
2022?
Oh, was it? I was going to say it was like 2019 or some shit.
Oh my god! Yeah, don't go that far back. Come on. But
I have no sense of time anymore.
I was going to say it's been a while, and hey, like time is flying by, so. It is what it is.
It's called a construct. No, it's a flat circle.
Well, what is a flat circle? That's a good segue. Is Tom Holland teasing a return to something? And pretty much everybody believes it's Daredevil and the MCU.
It's going to be Billy Elliot on like the West End and Broadway, and I'm going to laugh.
I was going to say it's going to be him on like Saturday Night Live or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Because
I don't think this man or this child, even though he's like mid-20s at this point, has ever teased anything, and it be with Marvel.
Yeah, and like people are like, "Oh my god, the set photo! What do you think it is? What Marvel project?" If it was Marvel, they wouldn't let him do it.
No,
and it would have been ripped down seconds after he uploaded it, because his PR would have been like, "What are you doing?" Like. It
would also like a set photo would have come out that it's Marvel, because you can clearly see who's working on the sets.
Exactly.
When you're around the set.
Yeah. I get the hype and people want to believe. I've even seen some people insinuate being like, it's those emergency Venom and Kraven reshoots. And knowing Sony, it could be.
It could well be.
Yeah. It could be, and I don't like it. I don't like that at all. But
so with Tom Holland, his like marketing PR department has learned very quickly that because he's Spider-Man, you can use that to your advantage.
Yeah,
and they've done it so many times.
Yeah. Oh man, look at that. Mitch literally they got him. They know the plan. They know the plan. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Mitch got Mead out of the chat.
Really?
Just like crashes on him. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Well, okay. We'll keep talking about it. If Mitch shows up, hopefully maybe Mitch is here. Is he alive?
Yeah, is he alive?
It literally. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you.
It literally just chucked me out of StreamYard.
Yeah.
Nothing crashed. He just went bye. I was like,
Weird.
But yeah,
so weird.
Tom Holland is never about Marvel.
Never.
It's about Marvel. He's straight up with it. He never teases anything.
Remember when Robert Downey Jr. did this for like 3 projects and people caught on? They're like, we're not doing this anymore. It's like, yeah, because it was like Doolittle and something else.
Probably Oppenheimer.
Just something. Yeah, it was a couple projects where like, no. Which
is weird because like a lot of fans don't think like once they're on like a technically big project, that's all they're going to be doing,
right?
Instead of other projects that they might be interested in or they took a chance on because they liked it for the premise.
Right. Yeah.
People seem to forget that you can do more than one thing at once.
You definitely cannot, Mitch. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, I suppose StreamYard can't have me in it and then actually work at the same time. So
this is like this whole Tom Holland thing is like, let's say hypothetically, let's play with the idea that maybe Tom Holland is going to be in Daredevil Born Again, which they confirmed at D23. The second half starts shooting soon. It might already be in production from what we understand. Because they might be doing a lot of closed set locations because they did some of the shots around New York when they were there the first time, and they can alternate around depending on like the setting and the time of the year and everything. I think that if he was to appear in Daredevil, this shows us that Disney and Marvel Studios pulled off the biggest Hail Mary contract renegotiation of all time. Like,
I mean, possibly.
Yeah.
Because Sony doesn't want Peter Parker on TV. We know this for a fact. Yeah. Like, they're like, no. That was one of their like contingencies. Like, no, not allowed.
But that was years ago. In defense.
Yeah, because like for me, I was like, I just want to know, like, if it was a renegotiation, did they do another one, or is this part of the original?
Right. This would have to be a new one, I would assume. You know.
Yeah. I say because I assume streaming is a completely different, like, contractual thing.
Yeah,
it's not TV and it's not a movie.
From what's been leaked from a whole bunch of people in the industry. Streaming's a whole different thing, for better or for worse.
Yeah,
I think at the minute worse because everything's going down.
You expect us to pay you? No.
So what do you mean you want shows for the money you're paying us?
But it's like, and that's kind of like my thing here. People are like, no, it's got to be Daredevil. I'm like, okay, but streaming doesn't make money. Sony wants a portion of the cut. Disney just barely made a profit on streaming, and now they're going to have to give 30% of that to Sony.
I guarantee you, if that was the case and Marvel really wanted it, that they would have absolutely given something else up.
100%, exactly. Yep.
It'll be like, we want 60% of the next movie.
Exactly. Yeah, some giant negotiating tactic would have had to have gone down. And I say this as somebody who's been privy to seeing some negotiating tactics between Sony and other parties, and Sony barely ever gives and just wants to take. That's what I can tell you, and I can't say which franchise.
I mean, that's everyone, right?
But these guys are like a different level of, they think their hubris was, I was like, this can't be real. My friend was like, oh, it is. I was like, Wow,
I'm shocked the company that's part of another Sony division
right.
has some major ego and hubris and
I know,
they
crazy.
are better than everyone.
Crazy. So
absolutely shocked.
when we learn more, guys, we'll come back. For right now, there's not too much here we can really say or offer to it because we don't know what it is, and it's probably not Spider-Man related. So there you go. But
now I put money in it being like Billy Elliot, something like that.
yeah.
It's gonna be
extended stage return.
Yep, 100%. Something not Spider-Man at all.
No,
like yeah.
Unless Spider-Man, what was that stage show Spider-Man had Into the Dark?
Turn of the Dark.
Yeah. Imagine they brought that back with Tom Holland. It's fine now. We have insurance.
Oh,
no one's gonna die for lying around.
Yeah. But hey, let's talk about X-Men 97's fired showrunner Bo DeMaio, who decided to break NDA by having people subscribe to his OnlyFans to read his statement and parts of the NDA in regards to Marvel firing him, and some of the comments he made, and how this whole thing is a back and forth. He said, she said, they lied, he lied. It's a mess. It is a.
This is Ray Fisher level of stupid.
This is, yeah.
So, in fact, it might actually one up Fisher.
I saw somebody in the IGN comments, which is rare to get somebody intelligent in there, say, is there a chance that he's related to Ray Fisher? And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, at this point, like, just think of this. Non-disclosure agreement. You disclosed it.
Yeah.
After they paid you off and you agreed and signed a dotted line to not talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then you'd be like, "Hey, subscribe to my OnlyFans. It's only $9 a month." Or $10 I'm sorry. The second you thought that was a good idea, you're clearly full of crap. I don't care what you say anymore. It's just
because it's very, very scummy. Because for most people, you would want to at least clear your name on that aspect and not try and get like one last small payday for people who are interested to see your side of the story. And it's $10 and then I'll tell you, and you're not like the person buying in is not even sure you're even going to be telling the whole story and not just rambling on and skipping everything besides the answer that they're looking for.
Yeah,
exactly. It's
and
once you start paywalling the truth like that, you're not saying anything of value.
Yeah, and he goes on to like talk a little bit about how he joked about apparently wanting to play Blade, and that got him in trouble. And then some people made some comments about, hey, we're gonna crack the whip so you guys work harder and faster on the show so we can put it out on time and things like that. And I'm like, well, we got a lot of what he's saying is we need more proof of. And he's like, well, I got people that were there. They're eyewitnesses. They can back up my comments. But provide that then, like.
And it's not to say that that potentially he's not wrong, because both things could be true.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, horrible. Yeah, he could be a horrible person and the conditions could be horrible as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Also it doesn't, just because he's not showing that he actually physically has, a witness report, doesn't mean that's not true as well, because you don't want to reveal that if you're going to go to court, or if you think it's going to make it to court, you wouldn't want to put evidence out there. But it's just the sheer fact of no one's come out in defense of him. When something like this happens, you always get people being like, "Nah, they're wrong." Right. You're paywalling everything. Just those two things alone is like, nah.
That's the red flag for me.
Too many red flags. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep. And like, he's talking about having his credit removed and how that's not fair. It's like, it was in your contract. If you break these terms, we are eliminating you from it.
Yeah. So you were getting credit, mate. Like, all you had to do was shut up for like 5
minutes. And then, it's like in the NDA, you also revealed this the first go around. You weren't supposed to keep posting about the series or any of the art you did for it when it was airing. because you're done with the project. He broke that NDA like a dozen times by posting about it and literally posting art about it. And like, again, you can only have so much sympathy for somebody who's literally breaking a contract that's right there in front of him. Like, what do you? It's crazy. And like, again, we're not 100% defending Disney because, hey, are they overworking people? Yeah. Are they all underpaid? Massively.
Yeah.
And there's tons of problems with the animation and CG, yes. But there's a clear cut of both sides are in the bad, and then one side is using all these weird tactics that are red flags to try to get more sympathy. That's just what I'm saying, you know? So
yeah,
it doesn't pass the test for me. That's the best way to say it. So
no, it smells funky. I ain't drinking it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what do you think? How do you think this ends? What happens next? How's this gonna go? Because
I don't think he finds work again, to be honest.
Oh, he's gonna join Rebel Moon 3.
Oh,
because Ray Fisher only now gets a rub from Zack Snyder.
But didn't they kill Fisher off in Rebel Moon?
I didn't make it that far, or I don't remember.
I mean, I didn't even start the second one, but I heard
I think it was. Like his character dies.
It's just like not even Zack wants Ray Fisher.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for him to get a job again. And if it is a little bit of call me, then no one's gonna trust him for the most part ever again either.
I just think the fact that he just straight up broke NDA, I think he's done.
Yep.
I'd be very surprised if he gets work again.
Yeah. You'd have to be insane to hire him with an NDA because that's what you sign these companies, knowing that the dude will go on OnlyFans and expose the NDA. Like that's why would you want that? Like that's
there's also the bigger industry issue of if this was a white guy, he'd instantly get work again, but he's not a white guy, so with this, he's absolutely not getting work again.
Well, it's not only that, is that Disney was clearly targeting him because he's not a white guy and he's not straight at all. That's true. Clearly,
that's it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past Iger.
No,
doesn't necessarily mean that is that.
It's like that probably wasn't the main thing that got him fired in the first place.
Yeah. So everyone being like, "Oh, why fire him over in OnlyFans?" It's like they would have absolutely have known about that beforehand.
Yeah, they
clearly did not care.
When we found out about the James Gunn tweets, Disney knew about them before they hired him, and they only gave into the mob that showed up that one night, and it's like, oh, and then it was too late. It's like we're in a scenario where this will get probably settled out of court because he's gonna get paid off, and chances are we'll never hear from him again. I mean, that's about it. Yeah. That'll just be how it goes, and I
don't even think they'll get settled out of court, but I think he'll just get thrown out. There's no way Disney be like, hey, why is he suing us when he broke the clear agreement we had?
Yeah, 100%.
What was he got to sue?
Right. What leg does he have to stand on, considering he broke a contract he signed multiple times? What do you want?
Because that's the biggest thing as well, right? If, let's just say, hypothetically, he is correct about everything, and he just makes some insanely stupid choices, how frustrating is that? Like, mate, you literally have like a smoking bullet. And you decide to be stupid with it. Like, no, I'm sorry. You're clearly not the one to do this. Like, just go away.
Yep. Agreed with all that. So I guess we'll be back with a conclusion to this, I assume. So if there's any other updates, they'll probably be minor up until courts. But right now we got our final topic, and it's a big one because reports have surfaced that final decisions on the future of Blade and Marvel's Armor Wars film are being discussed this year, and that there's a chance they scrap them or they continue with them, one or the other, and either project could suffer one of the two fates. So, not surprising, I must say that. They were both announced at the same time 5 years ago, and there's been zero development.
Oh no, Armor Wars went from a show to a movie.
True, after being the War Machine movie that was supposed to come out after the original Avengers. Because remember, they revealed that. They're like, oh yeah, Don Cheadle was supposed to star in that. But then we put him in Iron Man 3 and said after Age of Ultron. Then we said after Infinity War. And now we're saying after Endgame. It's like, this ain't happening, is it? It's...
No, not at all.
No. It's... Yeah. I mean...
Which sucks, because Cheadle deserves to have, like, a roadie thing.
Yes, he does.
By himself.
Yeah.
And I deserve it for waiting this long.
Yeah, we all deserve it. Like,
I am owed this one specific thing, Marvel.
Like, they need to make it, but a part of me feels like that they're like, okay, we're clearly going in a different direction. We've pivoted again with Doomsday and what we're doing now. It might be too late for Armor Wars, because by the time it comes out, it's post-Secret Wars, right? It has to be at this point.
Sure, but I think the pivot of Doomsday and Secret Wars is kind of irrelevant when you look at the larger multiverse saga as a whole.
Okay, fair.
Like, there's no... I mean, sure, they've just been doing what they did with the Infinity Stones, but you could change those, like Infinity War and Endgame, and Phase 1 to 3 doesn't change, apart from the Infinity Stones, right? Like, you can do I think that's part of the reason why they make it this way, is because you can pivot the end game of everything, pun intended,
right,
without affecting anything else going forward.
Right.
I think the bigger factor here is Secret Invasion.
Oh,
because that was supposed to tie, like, you know, be the end bit of that, right? Or at least connected to it because of Rhodey.
Yep.
And then obviously also it's Armor Wars is about to do with Stark. So, you know, maybe it is purely the Doomsday thing is the reason why it's not moving anywhere at the minute, because they are planning to do something with Robert Downey Jr. being a Doom variant. Iron Man is Doom in the Fantastic Four universe. That's the thing, and that's the reason why. So it's how do we do with this ramification now?
I have this like feeling that what they're gonna do is say Armor Wars after Secret Wars, and it's gonna be like, you have to fight for the legacy of Tony Stark, but also he came back as Doctor Doom, so now you got double the legacy to clear up, and there's Doom tech and there's Stark tech left over, and you're just like, oh, okay, like.
See, now to me, the smart idea, right, would be to replace the one. I'm not going to name which movie it was because it hurts too much to say it. One of the two in between Avengers movies with Armor Wars. And then you make Armor Wars a Battle World movie.
Yes, 100%.
And it's like, hey, here's Rhodey against Tony, but Tony's now Victor. Like, how do we go from That's what I would do, but are they going to do that? Absolutely not, because I think that's the smart thing to do, and they don't do that.
It bums me out that this is where we're at, but it's where we're at, and it's like, it's that movie. I still feel like Armor Wars could happen. Blade, though. Let's talk about Blade.
What's it to talk about?
I was gonna say, can they just say they don't want it to happen? Just say you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Just do it. Come on.
Yeah. Just say you announced it too early.
Yep.
You had no plans for the supernatural side in the multiverse saga whatsoever. And then just move on.
Yeah, that's the one to me that's like, you literally announced it, and Kevin Feige was out there publicly talking about how, we didn't even want to do Blade, but when you got a good actor that says, I want to do Blade, you hire him on the spot, and then you figure it out. It's like, so you never intended to do this, but you didn't want Marvel TV to do it.
Well, they never intended to do it at the present.
Yeah,
it was never a case of they're obviously going to do Blade at some point. It's Blade. Right, and I think Feige's on his, I'm getting my own back for all those like mid-2000s and 90s movies. We're going to make them properly. Not saying the Blade movies were bad, but 3 was trash fire. So I think he's on that kind of a kick, so he was going to get to Blade eventually.
Yeah.
Just not right now. But this is an inherent problem of like TV shows, movies, video games, whatever, getting announced way too early.
100%. Oh my god.
Don't show it to me if I can't have it.
Yep.
If it's 5 years out, don't bother talking to me about it.
Yeah, like they legit made a bunch of big mistakes with this one, and I mean a bunch of big mistakes with announcements and how they're rolling it out, and also the fact that we've gone through 3 directors now, at least 6 teams of writers for Blade.
Yeah,
like it's they, in my opinion, they should just pivot hard on this, make it a limited series or a special presentation at this point, and just call it a day.
Yeah, but you still have to have someone write that, and they can't get someone.
All right, so Giacchino directed Werewolf by Night on short notice, and he literally has no experience directing.
We are not gonna waste his Blade movie on a special presentation. That movie gets a full-blown movie, and it will be like the new Del Toro. I guarantee.
Oh man,
But Blade's curse. Let's be honest. It killed Eternals. It wasn't even in it.
Just the power of his voice killed the franchise.
I'll never forgive that man. No.
He saw the future. He knew what was going to happen. This is about go down.
He knew his movie was never getting made, so he decided to take it out on me.
Mitch took it personally.
I have actually been attacked.
Luckily, they never revealed to the fans that is Blade, so they never have to acknowledge that again.
Except they did. You had Chloe Zhao the day after the premiere being like, "Oh yeah, that was Blade."
It's okay. The normal people that think Superman is in these movies and he's going to show up soon, they don't need to know.
I guarantee you, even people that did know forgot about that one little detail.
Oh
yeah, she did say it was Blade. I'm like, yeah, she did.
Yeah, this is where we're at now, guys. This is where we're at, and I don't like it, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, we are at this point where I don't think you realistically get any good update on either projects if they're going to happen, because what incentive do they have? Blade isn't going to be $1 billion franchise. I can guarantee you that. War Machine, I don't know, 400 or 500 million, maybe 6 max, but I feel like the character's time has passed. I
mean, people said that about Black Widow, right? And
true.
It's still sure they put it on Disney Plus, but it still did decent on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Now, would it have made more in theaters? No one can say. No one can say. During COVID, it would have made about 400 million because that was like the cap for that period of time in COVID.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Which, again, to be fair, that's not a bad sum of money. Don't get us wrong, but
no, you go back like 5, 10, about like 8, 10 years. I'll get rid of 5. You go back that far, 400 mil was guaranteed sequel money.
Yep, easily,
absolutely guaranteed sequel money.
Remember, now One and Thor 1 barely passed that, and they were seen as failures, but Marvel committed to it because it's like, if you made over 400 mil, that was a guaranteed, oh my god, you've got a blockbuster. But now 800 mil is the new 400,
Yeah. You look at Shang-Chi and Eternals, came out, a couple months apart? One made 30 million less than the other, and one's scrapped entirely, but one's, I would say one's getting a sequel in a TV show. There's been nothing on that for years. So who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah.
It's weird. If we're in a weird time for the industry right now.
What we're trying to say is, why is Bob Iger racist? Why is the people with the,
because that man was born in the 1800s. No. You know how people say like America's only 3 people old? Right. Bob Iger's older than those 3 people.
Damn it, Bob. What are you doing? Why are you like this?
Bob Iger went to school with George Washington's great-grandfather.
Well, what is that crazy stat that one of the oldest people in the United States right now, right? His great grandfather, so just one grandfather removed, was the 10th president of the United States.
That's what I was referring to. Yeah,
what is
like,
this?
Literally
How?
3 people old. Like
that, my brain cannot compute that. Still, I know it's a fact.
No.
I've seen the dude talking in a video, and I can't comprehend it. Like,
it's like this guy was the 10th president, so that was at least 40 years of America existing. So he would have been alive before that. So then he wasn't it like he had his son in his 60s or something.
Yeah.
Which at that time was wild. That just didn't happen. And then he had his son, the grandkid was born when the dad was in his 60s. And that guy's now still rocking about today. So it's like, wow, you're literally 3 people away from George Washington.
It's crazy.
That's how young America is. That's why no one likes America. You are the child.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah. A fair assessment if I've ever heard one. So
no one likes kids. That's why they don't like
it. Well, I suppose that's gonna, bring us to the end of this topic. So we'll see what gets on the chopping block by next year. So
the moral of the story is Disney don't want to do anything but white people anymore.
Yup. That's the fact.
If you're not white, it's a political message, and we can't have that.
Oh, I thought you were going to go down the old saying, if it ain't right, it ain't right. Remember, because they did that for Ant-Man. It was a whole smear campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the starting of the chuds in the MCU can be pinpointed to that moment.
Was it really Ant-Man's fault? I guess it was, wasn't it?
That was like a breaking point because they couldn't have their cinephile god, Edgar Wright, direct the movie, which he didn't want to direct the way they wanted him to.
Yeah, so you want to make 2 totally different movies. Okay, cool. Well, it's our movie, so...
So, back away. Back away. Well,
crazy.
That's it, everybody. That's another podcast in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will be back, of course, next week. Let's hope it's a little bit more eventful. But in a couple of weeks, it will be, as Agatha and Penguin are officially starting 24 hours apart. So, going to be a good amount of content and theories.
Agatha's going to slap so hard, people ain't ready for it.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I have a feeling both of these shows, by the end of the year, are going to be regarded as 2 of the best of the year.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
They just both look so good. So good.
Now, isn't Penguin 4 episodes?
I think it's 8, maybe? Yeah.
Is it 8? See, I saw that one graphic that Nick posted in the group, and I was like, why is there 4
I think that was just the first 4 episode runtime revealed. Yeah.
Because I thought, wow, Matt Reeves is actually a mad lad for introducing 4 episodes to Americans. That is insane to me. Can't even handle 6, and you're doing 4? Like, wow. Wow, what a time we're alive.
And on a sidebar of all this, the Agatha posters have been some of the best in the entire existence of the MCU. Those posters are god tier. Like,
to be honest, I haven't seen them. No.
Oh my! The one of her walking into the cabin and the reality breaking behind that is a poster for all-time Marvel. It's so good. It's so good. There's a lot of great posters. They've probably released a dozen of them at this point over the last week. They're all
that doesn't surprise me considering how many names they gave this show beforehand.
Exactly. So they got a poster for everything.
See, I've been too busy being a monkey to actually notice anything this week, so
that's fair.
My excuse. Yeah.
I've been doing that. I've been balancing 3 games like I do always, so I only see them when they pop up in the group, and I'm like, oh, there it is. Got that.
Yeah, I can't. If I'm a one at a time type of guy, I can't do more than one.
See, I have that game ADHD where I have to jump around to keep things interesting because that's what America has done to me. It corrupted my brain where I have to have different stimulus the entire time I'm doing something.
I think they just call that ADHD. You're not getting the dopamine hit from one game.
Oh, well, America made it worse. So there we go. Thanks.
It was the chemtrails in the water, I guess.
Stop building stuff ground, Eddie. Well, until next time, everybody. Take care.